Hello students, today we will see the next topic, that is how to measure the conductivity of an ionic solution. As you know, we can measure the resistance of a metallic conductor. I think you have studied in current electricity in physics about the Weisstein's bridge. So if you know or if you measure the resistance of the cell, you can indirectly you can measure the conductivity. Okay, so today we will see how to measure the conductivity of an ionic solution. Okay, so let's start. Now, as I already told you, if we want to measure the conductivity of an ionic solution, you know conductivity kappa or kappa is equal to conductance into cell constant. That is, you have already studied this. It's very important expression. That is, conductivity kappa is equal to conductance into cell constant. Now today what we are going to do is how to measure the conductivity. Okay. Now that is first we have to measure the resistance of this solution. Resistance of the solution by using a Weisstein's bridge. Okay. We will apply the Weisstein's bridge formula, balanced Weisstein bridge formula. Thereby, we will calculate the accurate resistance of this conductivity cell, and from this resistance, you know what is conductance. The reciprocal of resistance is conductance. You substitute that value, you will get the conductance into the cell constant, that is a constant for a given conductivity cell. From there, you will find the kappa. Okay. Now, for that, in a Weisstein's bridge, what you will do? That is, you are connecting 4 resistance in a Weisstein's bridge. That is, one is like this, another one is like this, then third one is like this, and the fourth one is this. So there are 4 resistance in a Weisstein's bridge. Now if I name it as R1, now R2, now this is R4, and this R3, what you are going to do is you connect this directly into a conductivity cell. So this is a specially designed conductivity cell. Now why I call it as a specially designed? Why? Because this is the full cell, the conductivity cell is thermally insulated. That means no heat is going into it or outside it. Why? Because you know the conductivity depends on the temperature. Correct. And also, see, there are 2 electrodes. This is platinized platinum electrode, that all we have discussed earlier, and the distance between the electrode is L, which is a constant for a given electrolytic cell, and the area of cross section of this electrode, this platinum electrode, is also a constant for a given cell. Which I mean is the L by A, the cell constant, is a constant for a given electrolytic cell. Okay. Now, fill the given electrolyte, for example KZl, in this specially conductivity cell, specially designed conductivity cell, and we are going to measure the conductivity of this ionic solution. Correct? So we have taken the Weisstein's bridge and you have put the resistance R1, R2 and R4, and what about R3 is we are directly connecting this into the conductivity cell, the thermally insulated conductivity cell. You got it? Okay. Then in this Weisstein's apparatus, here you connect a galvanometer, and the outer circuit is by means of a AC current. Why you took AC current means, if you take DC current, what will happen? If you take DC current, electrolysis will happen. Now, if electrolysis happens, the conductivity, we cannot measure the accurate conductivity or the resistance of this, because what happens in electrolysis, the ions get deposited, so the number of ions will get decreased, so thereby the conductivity also decrease. So you have to take an AC current. AC current means switching off. Correct. So there is no electrolysis happen. So in order to avoid the electrolysis, you are taking the AC current here. Now what you have to do is, you have to give the resistance R1 and R2 in such a way that, or you have to adjust this R1 and R2 in such a way that this galvanometer shows a zero deflection. Got it? You have to adjust this resistance of R1 and R2 in such a way that this circuit, there is no current flowing into the circuit. Then you call this as a balanced Weiston's bridge. Correct? So there is no current in this circuit, and then the galvanometer will show the zero deflection. You can adjust this because you are giving this resistance, so you can adjust this R1 and R2 in such a way that this shows a zero deflection. Then you can write this formula of a balanced Weiston's bridge as R1 by R2 is equal to R3 by R4. See? So from this balanced Weiston's bridge, you know what is R1 because you are putting it, you know what is R2, you know what is R4. Now we can calculate what is R3. Correct? Now what is R3? R3 is equal to R1 by R2 into R4. Correct? So this is how you measure the resistance of this specially designed conductivity cell in which there is an ionic solution whose resistance is measured. Is it clear? It's very simple. Only this formula you have to study. That's all to remember. So once you got the resistance of this conductivity cell, then it is very easy. How? You know resistance, what is conductivity? Conductivity is conductance into cell constant. Okay. Now conductance means what? If you get resistance, conductance is 1 by R. Isn't it? 1 by R, that is reciprocal of the resistance will give you the conductance. And what is cell constant? Cell constant is L by A. You know what is L because it is fixed for a given conductivity cell, and you know what is the value of A, that is also fixed for a given conductivity cell. So from this equation you can calculate the conductivity of an ionic solution. Clear? So that is how you calculate the conductivity, or you measure the conductivity of an ionic solution by using this Weiston bridge. Is it clear? Okay. So that's all about to measure the conductivity of an ionic solution. Okay. Next we move on to the next topic. That is a very important topic. When you consider the board exam, sure short questions will come. That is the variation of conductivity and molar conductivity on dilution. It's very important. Okay. So we will see how the conductivity as well as the molar conductivity varies during dilution. Now what is dilution actually? Dilution means what? We are putting more and more solvent or water. You know dilution of an acid. You are diluting the concentrated acid by adding or pouring water into it by constant stirring. So putting more and more solvent or water means dilution. Or you can either say that the decreasing in the concentration is called as what? Dilution. Now we want to see what is the variation of conductivity as well as molar conductivity or conductance by diluting the solution. Okay. Now we will see what happens here. Okay, first we will talk about the conductance. Before going into conductivity, we will see what about the conductance on dilution. You know dilution means what? Dilution means adding more and more water. Correct? That is concentration is decreasing. Dilution means dilution increasing means concentration is decreasing. Now what is mean by actually the conductance? Conductance means nothing but I can write it is directly proportional to the number of ions, isn't it? The number of ions which are carrying the current. Or generally I can say that when I talk about conductance, I should say you are telling electrolytic solution, right? Electrolytic solution. Electrolytic solutions means there are two kinds of electrolytic solution. One is a strong electrolyte and other is a weak electrolyte. Correct. So, when I talk about this conductance, generally I can say whether it is a strong or a weak electrolyte, the conductance always increases on dilution. Why? Because I already told conductance means it is proportional to the number of ions. So, number of ions increasing means what? If you are diluting a solution, you know ionic solutions are there. For example, A plus cation and C minus is the anion, say, for example. Now, if you go on diluting the solution, what happens here? Here, this plus and minus ions are getting dissociated, okay. But when on dilution, the distance between the anion and the cation increases. The distance increases. Okay, thereby the force of attraction decreases between this anion and cation, making the ions moving faster. So that is why we say the conductance of any electrolyte, whether it is a strong electrolyte or it is a weak electrolyte, the conductance increases on dilution. Okay, and you know strong electrolyte means what? Complete dissociation happens, correct? If AB is an electrolyte, complete ionization happens and you can say there is 100% dissociation. Weak electrolyte, there is a less amount of dissociation, but on diluting, the number of ions get increased. How it is increased? I told you. That is, the distance between the ions increases, thereby the force of attraction decreases, thereby the ions are free to move. More and more ions are produced from a weak electrolyte. Because weak electrolyte, if I write AB reversibly giving A plus plus B minus, last year's equilibrium. So more and more ions gets produced by means of dilution. Now, if I talk about the chemistry of this dilution, how this more and more ions are getting from a weak electrolyte, that is, if for example, if you are adding water, what water will do? Water is having a high dielectric constant, you know. Being highly dielectric, it will make this force of attraction weaker. That is the role of water or any solvent. So, it makes this attractive force weaker, thereby the ions get spread out and then it will conduct or move along and carries the current. So, the funda is whether strong or weak, the conductance always increases on dilution. Clear? Okay. Next is coming to the point, that is conductivity. Now, in the first class, while we talk about the terminology, we talked about conductivity. Now, what was the definition of that conductivity? Conductivity is the conductance of all the ions present in 1 ml of a solution. Now, what we are considering here is how many ions are present in 1 ml of a solution. So, we will see how it varies with dilution. Okay. Now, second is what is conductivity. Okay, listen carefully. Conductivity means, you know, it is the conductance. Okay, it is the conductance of all the ions present in 1 ml of the solution. Is it clear? 1 ml of solution. Now, we have, suppose you have a 1 ml of solution. Okay, 1 ml of solution. And suppose you have 2 ions there. That is one cation and another anion. 2 ions are there in this 1 ml. Just imagine. Now, if I dilute it by adding water or any solvent, what will happen? Suppose if I dilute it to 2 ml. I am diluting it to 2 ml. So, what about the number of ions which is present in this 2 ml? If it is 1 ml, you will have 2 ions, correct? Now, in 2 ml, it is having 2 ions, definitely. But what is our conductivity? It shows how many ions are present in 1 ml, correct? So, in 2 ml, if it is 2 ions, then in 1 ml, it is 1 ion, correct? Now, what about the conductivity? When dilution happens, what happens? The conductivity is decreased. Clear? That means, once again I will tell you, Suppose you take 1 ml, it contains 2 ions A plus and B minus, say. Then if you dilute it by adding it water or any solvent and make it to 2 ml, what happens? How many ions are present in this 2 ml? 2 ml there is 2 ions, but in 1 ml 1 ion. So conductivity says the conductance of all the ions present in 1 ml of a solution. So what is the result? End result is, that is, on dilution. Dilution means dilution increases, that is concentration decreases. What happens to kappa? Kappa decreases. See, very very important. Or you can say in one word as, the number of ions per ml decreases. You can say like that. Why conductivity decreases on dilution? Because the number of ions per ml decreases. That is why the conductivity decreases on dilution, or increasing the dilution or decreasing the concentration. Correct? Is it clear? Okay. Now, here I want to tell you about something more about dilution. When we talk about conductivity, you can say 1 ml of an electrolytic solution. Here also, I should mention what about the strong electrolyte and what about the weak electrolyte. You know, always the strong electrolyte means complete dissociation happens. You have studied in equilibrium the degree of dissociation, DOD. So, in strong electrolyte, 100% dissociation happens, that is the degree of dissociation is 100% or the value is 1. But what about in the case of a weak electrolyte on dilution? You have studied, do you remember, you have studied Ostwald's law of dilution in 11th standard on equilibrium. Ostwald's dilution law. What is Ostwald dilution law? You know, for a weak electrolyte, for example, say acetic acid we are taking. Acetic acid. Now what happens to acetic acid? Acetic acid will dissociate to form CH3COO minus plus H plus. Okay. Why I put this reverse? Because it is a weak electrolyte. Now as I have already studied, if I take the concentration as C, when time t is equal to 0, this concentration is 0 and 0 for the product. Correct? Then at time t is equal to t, if alpha is the degree of dissociation, that means from 1 mole alpha particles are getting dissociated. You know, in weak electrolyte only hardly 5% is getting dissociated, or alpha is equal to 0.5. That's all. So if alpha mole is getting dissociated from 1 mole, and if C is the concentration, at time t is equal to t, you can say after a time t, this becomes C minus C alpha. That is, C alpha is getting dissociated from C. 1 mole means 1 minus alpha. C concentration, C minus C alpha. Here, what you will get? You will get C alpha and C alpha is produced. Because how much this is getting dissociated, how much it is getting reduced, that much it is getting increased in the product. That is dissociation. Okay. Now from this, how you calculate the dissociation constant Ka? That is concentration of the product by concentration of the reactant. That is C alpha into C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha. Correct? Now you cancel out this, you will get C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. That is Ka. That is dissociation constant. Now, since alpha is very very small, for a weak electrolyte, we can neglect this denominator and we can write Ka is equal to C alpha square and alpha is equal to root of K by C. This is Ostwald's dilution law. Now from this Ostwald's dilution law, you can very well say that if the concentration is increased, concentration increased means dilution decreased. Here we are talking about dilution. That means if the concentration is decreased, what will happen? The alpha will increase. See, the degree of dissociation increases on dilution. That is what I want to mention here. That is, for a weak electrolyte, where is it? For a weak electrolyte, what happens? The DOD or the degree of dissociation is increased while dilution. or decreasing the concentration. You got this? Is it clear? No need to study this. Just if you want, you can have this. That is just alpha, how it is related. We want to know that this alpha increases on increasing the dilution. That's what it is getting from this equation. Correct? So just keep in mind about this degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte. Okay. Now what we were saying? We were saying about the conductivity. And what is conductivity? Conductivity means the kappa decreases on dilution. Why? The number of ions decreases on increasing the conductivity. Conductivity means how many ions per ml. That is what. So that is about the conductivity of an electrolytic solution. Okay, and you got a feel of what? Degree of dissociation also, correct? Okay. Now we will move on to what about the molar conductivity? What do you mean by molar conductivity? I represent it as what? I represent it as lambda m. Isn't it? Now what is molar conductivity? That also we have discussed earlier. What is it? The molar conductivity is the conductance of the ions in that volume which contains 1 mole of an electrolyte. You take that much volume, but that volume contains what? 1 mole of an electrolyte. And the conductance of that ions which is present in that volume which contains 1 mole of an electrolyte is what is called as what? The molar conductivity. Correct? Now we will see what is the variation of this molar conductivity on dilution. Okay. See, dilution means, the dilution increases means concentration decreases. Now what happens to this lambda m on dilution? Now coming back to the equation, what you consider is, you know lambda m is equal to kappa, the conductivity into the volume. Listen carefully, this is also a board question. What is the variation of molar conductivity with dilution? Now you took this volume V as the volume containing 1 mole of an electrolyte, correct? Volume containing 1 mole of an electrolyte. And kappa is the conductivity. Now on dilution means what? Dilution means volume is increasing, correct? So here, theoretically speaking, the volume is increasing because on dilution the volume definitely gets increased. But what about kappa, the conductivity? On dilution we just studied that the kappa will decreases on increasing the dilution. That's also correct. Then how will you say what is the variation of this molar conductivity? For that, theoretically you can say it is kappa into V and lambda m is the molar conductivity. But on experimentation it is proved that, listen carefully, on experimentation it is proved that the lambda m increases with dilution. Very important. Very, very important. The lambda m increases with dilution. How? That is, you know definitely the kappa is decreasing and the volume is increasing. What happens here is the volume, increasing of the volume is more effective than the decrease in the conductivity. You got it? That is, the volume is increasing and that increasing of this volume is more effective than the decreasing, or it is more compensated than the decrease in the kappa. For example, if you want a numerical value, I can say if the conductivity is 20 times decreasing and if the volume is 80 times increasing, what is the net result? It is 60 times increasing, isn't it? So, the effectiveness of the increase in volume is more than the decrease in the what? In the conductivity. So, in effect you can say as the dilution increases, the molar conductivity increases. You got the point? As the dilution increases or the concentration decreases, the molar conductivity increases. Why? Because the volume increases and that increases in the volume is more effective when considering the decrease in the conductivity of that solution. So these are the 3 variations of dilution or on the effect of dilution on conductance, conductivity and molar conductivity. Okay, now I will just sum up the three as, you know, conductance. What about conductance? Effect of dilution. Okay, effect of dilution. First on conductivity, what happens? Conductivity increases, correct? That is, just the value point is related to number of ions. Now what about the conductivity? Conductivity kappa decreases, that is, the number of ions per ml decreases. Now what about molar conductivity? Molar conductivity increases. Why? Because the volume increased has more effect on than the decreasing in the conductivity. So these are the three cases on the effect of dilution with conductance, conductivity and molar conductivity. So is that clear? How it varies, or the effect of dilution on conductivity? You mainly target on these two, conductivity and molar conductivity. Okay, now we will see what about a strong electrolyte, the conductivity, and a weak electrolyte, how it varies. Okay, now I can say for a strong electrolyte, listen, for a strong electrolyte, what is a strong electrolyte? Complete dissociation, alpha is equal to 1. Correct. Example, KCl, NaCl, etc. Now, in the case of a strong electrolyte, you know, the effect of dilution is what? The effect of dilution is kappa is decreases and the lambda m is increasing. Correct. Now, the molar conductivity is related to an equation where the equation states as lambda m is equal to lambda 0 m minus a root c. This is an equation which relates this molar conductivity to another term which you call it as lambda 0 m, which means that this is the molar conductivity at zero concentration. What do you mean by zero concentration? Zero concentration, I can say that at infinite dilution. You know, I can also say zero concentration as, that is when concentration approaches to zero. Infinite dilution, I can say. So this term I can say either the molar conductivity at zero concentration, or you can say it as, it is called as limiting molar conductivity. What is it? Limiting molar conductivity. How this got is, if you draw a graph for a strong electrolyte, plotting root C on the x-axis and lambda m on the y-axis. You know, this relates to the y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so in the x-axis it is root c and in y-axis lambda m. Listen, you will get a straight line like this, which means what? For example, say for KCl, strong electrolyte. This means as the this is C is equal to 0. As the concentration is decreased, okay, as the concentration is decreased, what happens? There is a slight increase. The value point is like, there is a slight increase in the molar conductance. Value point is slight, there is only a slight increase in the molar conductance. See, there is only a slight increase in the molar conductance. Now, what happens if you extend this line? What happens? It is intercepting here, and that point where the C is equal to 0, that means the concentration tends to 0. That case you call it as infinite dilution, correct? Infinite dilution, which means the C tends to 0. Now here it intercepts and that point is called as what? Lambda 0. And now what is lambda 0? Lambda 0 is the limiting molar conductivity, or the molar conductivity at what? 0 concentration. Correct? So this equation is called as, it's a named equation which is called as Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation. This is called as Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation. So you understood? So from this graph you can find the limiting molar conductivity of a strong electrolyte. Now what is lambda m? It is a molar conductivity. What is lambda 0 m? It is a limiting molar conductivity. You extrapolate it or extend this graph, you can get what? Lambda 0. Now what is root c? It is a concentration, c raised to half. Correct? Now what is a? A is a constant. Okay. So it is the constant or slope. You can say from the equation y is equal to mx plus c, you can say it is the slope, this is the intercept. Okay. Now A is constant for a given solvent. For example, if it is KCl, I can say it is a 1:1 electrolyte because K is 1 and Cl is 1. For example, if it is an MgCl2, all are ionic solutions, remember. So this is Mg2 plus, so it is 1:2. Correct. So these type of electrolytes are there, and depending upon the electrolyte, the A must be constant for a given electrolyte. A is a constant. So this is regarding the strong electrolyte. Now you can calculate the lambda m of a strong electrolyte by only Debye-Huckel-Onsager equation is only valid for strong electrolytes. That is very, very important. Okay. Now you know the conductivity of the strong electrolyte is mainly of what? The degree of dissociation is alpha is equal to 1. So if you dilute it also, the DOD is not changing, isn't it? For a strong electrolyte, the DOD is not changing for a strong electrolyte. Why? Because alpha is equal to 1. Now, that is why there is only a very slight increase. Why? This is due to the increase in the ions, or the force of attraction decreases, and thereby the distance between the cation and the anion increases, and thereby the conductivity increases. That is only on depending on the conductance of the strong electrolyte. So is that clear? This is all about the strong electrolyte. Okay. Now we will see what is taking place in the weak electrolyte. Okay. So weak electrolyte we will see in the next session.